I'm Bae McFarland with Mary's Advocates, and this video is a plea to Father Mark Huber, the Vicar General and Promoter of Justice of the Diocese of Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm taking up the author, Kevin Wells, of this new book, Priests We Need to Save Our Church. I'm taking up his suggestion that the faithful reach out when we see pastors doing something that's just not quite right or seems a little bit lukewarm and not really standing up for the church, and encourage you to teach the truth and have courage.
And let's just say they sensed something wasn't right. Or let's say they sense tepidity or maybe a lukewarmness or a flat-footedness or maybe something was contracepted in their homily where they just contracepted their tongue because they're afraid to preach boldly. It is up to the laity, I think Archbishop Sheen said, to please speak to your pastor and associate, and you can say, hey, Father, you know what? I see greatness in you. I see holiness in you. But I'm encouraged to bring it out of you because I just don't think you're doing it. I think once that pastor, he gets his conscience pricked by an intentional member of the laity who does love the faith, who does pray the daily rosary, who does make it holy hour, that pastor is going to say, you know what? This guy's leading me somewhere. And I think that's what Archbishop Sheen was saying. The fact is, it's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's all ladies' responsibility. If it lives in us, and the sense of fidelity rises up in us to see something that is simply not right or lukewarm or just weak, it's up to us to say, Father, about this.
I know of a husband in your diocese who asked the church to intervene when he and his wife were having marriage problems. He was asking if his wife was being so uncharitable that he had a legitimate reason to be separated. And instead of getting help, the diocese sent out a formal letter to him saying that he and his wife both have permission to file for divorce. The letter giving both parties permission to file for divorce said that the bishop is not going to open an administrative process, nor is he going to assign blame on either party for the difficulties in your marriage. Now, this is not helping, and in the husband's situation, he's now being court-ordered to be evicted from his home, and the husband is pleading to you to correct the mistake that went out. The diocese should not be telling people that it's okay to get divorced unless the petitioner in the divorce first has a legitimate reason to be separated, and second, such that what happens in the civil form would not be contrary to divine law. In this situation, the husband's not committed adultery, and he says that he's talked to the pastors of the church, and the pastor tells him he's done nothing grave that justifies the wife's separation from him permanently or filing for divorce. From my research, for someone to have a legitimate reason to be separated, for example, this wife, her husband would have had to have committed adultery, or he would have had to have been gravely dangerous and repeatedly gravely dangerous, and have separation be the only way to keep her safe. Instead, what's happening is that Catholics who go to the diocese asking for help are having the other spouse be told, hey, it's okay for you to go file for civil divorce. And in the civil forum, with our secular culture, we only have no-fault divorce. There's no such thing as temporary separation. The court will take over all the property, and in this situation, the husband is being court-ordered to leave the marital home and give it to his wife. This makes no sense.
Remember what Sister Lucia, the famous visionary Fatima, once said to Cardinal Caffarra. Sister Lucia said, the final battle between the Lord and the reign of Satan will be about marriage and family. Don't be afraid, she added, because anyone who operates for the holiness of marriage and the family will always be opposed in every way, because this is the decisive issue. And then Sister Lucia concluded, however, Our Lady has already crushed its head. Victory is in her Immaculate Heart. We should also be reminded, too, of that approved apparition of Our Lady of Good Success in Quito, Ecuador, back in the early 1600s. Our Lady infallibly predicted that in our modern age, quote, the passions will erupt and there will be a total corruption of morals. And as, Our Lady speaking here, as for the sacrament of matrimony, which symbolizes the union of Christ with His church, it will be attacked and deeply profaned. And then the Blessed Mother added this ominous statement, one that seems true especially today. quote, in this supreme moment of need for the church, about the issue of marriage especially, the one who should speak will fall silent, will not speak. In other words, the voice of John the Baptist crying out, "Non licet," will be missing in action. Instead, we'll have false prophets speaking about ideals and high expectations that are not able to be carried out by all.
Father Huber, I'm asking others to join me in this plea. Please correct the church's response to this husband who was asking for help in a marriage crisis. Please let a petitioner in the divorce court know that she has no business filing for divorce unless she has a legitimate reason to be permanently separated from her husband, which, from everything I'm understanding in this case, the wife certainly does not have. And instead of encouraging people to just go get divorced, encourage them to get the right kind of help. And if the other person was being so difficult that it justified separation, a good Catholic spouse's response is to cooperate long-term with those who are expert at helping couples. And the clue that one refuses to cooperate gives the hint that the one refusing to cooperate is the one that doesn't have a legitimate reason to be separated.